and a death in the family, but that worked itself out, so. And they started their summer reading program. They had 44 in attendance their first day, and they've had 100 sign up so far.
That's great.
Mhm.
A lot.
And she said the library board does not meet again until June 27th.
Any questions for library? Okay. Environmental services?
We don't have a whole lot on there tonight. Under the highlights and opportunities, all the forms have been signed and submitted for ADM to release the funds, back to the city. So hopefully by the end of June, we should start seeing that money come back in. So we can put that back into our engineering account where we've been, paying the engineer to start the plans and the building for the treatment plant. So we're glad that's on its way. He did say, when I talked to him, we should be putting this out to bid hopefully by September or October. He should be finished with all the drawings. We've got all the equipment pretty much narrowed down that we're gonna use. So we're real excited about that. Then tomorrow I know a lot of you guys work, so I sent you guys an invite. Auburn University's coming to the treatment plant tomorrow with 14 teachers. So they want to try to educate the children from the time they flush to the time it goes back to the receiving stream, so they actually know what the process is. So if y'all have an hour in the morning and y'all like to come to the plant, we're gonna walk 14 teachers around and educate them a little bit.
That's good, though. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
it's
more to it. People need to
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it. It's gonna be a high demanding job, in the future. By the time everybody starts retiring, you've got a lot of wastewater operators that are retiring from 10 to 5 years, 15 years, and there's not a whole lot of children getting involved in this type of work. And it's a good career. So we hope, maybe one day we'll see this in our C-Tech schools or something like that. So that's about it on the wastewater side. I'm gonna talk about planning and zoning for just a few minutes since I do that also. We've been real busy in that department. We've got to call a ZBA meeting next Tuesday at 9 a.m. for Saddlewood. They're wanting to change the front setbacks and the rear setbacks. The front setbacks are 30 feet, so they want to go to 25. The rear setbacks are 35. They want to go to 30. So they can put larger homes on these lots. They think the larger homes are going to sell better. So the zoning board of adjustments is going to meet next Tuesday at 9 a.m. here. And hopefully First US Bank's going to have a new restaurant, a pizza restaurant in it. I got a set of plans on that. And everything else has been going good. We've been busy with Springs Crossing, getting all those homes built.
So there won't be any change to the setbacks on the sides.
The sides will stay the same.
And remind me again, the front was how much and the back was how much?
The front was originally, or still is 30, and they dropped down to 25.
Okay.
The rears are 35 and would go to 30.
Okay,
So that property, we zoned it R3.
right. And what is the depth of those lots under R3?
I don't know right off the top of my
I know it's like a minimum 70-foot frontage. Did we give them any exceptions to that?
No, we did not.
Okay.
We left everything as
So it's
R3.
R3 as published.
Mhm. So I know in R3, the square footage is, single-family homes is 7,200.
The
square
lot
feet.
size.
The lot size.
How much, 7,200?
Mhm. So
So it's roughly 100 feet deep, 102 and some change.
What size homes were they gonna build there anyway?
I don't know off the top of my head. I got so many plans running through my head.
Now, in, this has been a while, so don't hold me to this, but in the discussions that when High Point, and I don't know if it was in this meeting or if it was a casual discussion with John Lawley outside of the meeting, but their plan was to have some homes in the 25, most of those homes being in the 2,500 square foot range at that time. Now, it sounds like maybe they're a little larger than that, I don't know.
Right. Trying to think if there's any other, then we've got some rezoning of properties we're doing. We're looking at rezoning the old wood yard and rezoning some property over here next to the mini storage that Kellis bought, across from Benny Davis. So we're looking at rezoning that property.
Do you have any idea, and maybe this is an Alan Reynolds question, Highway 25 looks like it has like survey stakes going down it, from at least where the animal clinic is all the way towards, past Highway 70 and going to Old 25 on the other end, in front of Benny Davis's, and they look like they generally define the right of way, the state right of way. Are you aware of anything?
I'm not.
They're paving 25 to Calera, and that's what we were told over there, that it was about something to do with that.
Yeah,
But that's all.
that we talked about here about a year ago. They finally getting around to starting.
I asked them the other day, and that's all they would tell us. Yeah.
What is in the old, skating rink?
It's like a restoration company.
When the house catches on fire,
Yeah.
it's a restoration.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Kind of like surf.
Like surf park, okay.
They moved it from Chelsea, I think.
So what's gonna be mini storage, and then Cube Smart opened, so they changed their mind and went a different route, so, just more tax dollars to mini storage.
Okay.
Yeah.
The rezoning of the wood yard, is that concrete?
No, it's not, so
Okay.
we're having a meeting Thursday night, and
Okay.
Charlene mailed out all certified letters, so,
What time?
it'll be at 6:00 PM.
Okay.
Here at City Hall, and that's when the public hearing will be, and that's when the planning commission will make a recommendation or not to send it to city council for another public hearing. So the public will have opportunity to speak for or against that.
Okay, and this is Thursday night at 6 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What's the wood yard?
So the wood yard, it should have been like a B1 back in the day.
Where's that?
Over here on 25 across
From
where Regan Spank
Road,
is,
but
right there.
in front of the middle school.
Oh, yeah, where those church, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kinda all rolled up now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, so it reverted back to a R1, so we're trying to get it rezoned, or the property owner's trying to get it rezoned to a B2, because he really can't do anything with it if it's R1.
That's strange, that's strange that that's all one.
Sir,
That's strange that right there. is
yeah,
all-
I know,
I
I mean,
built a house right there.
ever since I was a kid,
Yeah.
it was.
So the comprehensive plan has it, that area, that whole area listed as heavy commercial.
Mhm.
Now, that's not a zoning, that's just the long-range plan for property usage. But, and when it was zoned residential, the wood yard was active, and they were given the grandfather to continue to operate as a business. But once they stopped doing that, then it reverted to R1, so now it has to be changed. So,
Okay.
anything else, Dale?
That's all.
Any questions for Dale? Okay, Community Affairs, Senior Services.
Alright, things are going pretty well. We do have still problems with our ice maker. It is dead. So it will have to be replaced. to the tune of about $6,000.
Oh my gosh.
So when we do that, that will put us over budget. So we'll have to do that in the next little bit. The farmer's market is going well. The first one was last Friday night, and it was music on Main, and the farmer's market was very well attended, and everybody had a really good time. We were working on Liberty Day for the end of the month. With the senior center, we served about 1,150 meals in May. The contract with GA Foods is up, and so so far, so good for June. We haven't had any problems this week, but it's the first week with the new company, so we'll see how that goes. This Shelby County Senior Picnic is tomorrow, at Thompson High School. Sean of the South is performing at that. And then the Senior Center Barbecue is scheduled for Friday, June 23rd. So all the staff and you guys are all invited to that. So it's always a fun time. And then we only did 4 bookings in June because Liberty Day is kind of consumed the month of June. So we'll get back to booking more stuff in July. But other than that, things are going very well.
You saw vendors at Liberty Day?
We do, so we have closed, all the vendors, so we got to expand a little bit and add some more vendor spots, but we're still, should have counted before I came, but I think like 130, 135, something like vendors. So, it'll be busy.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Al. I don't think we had any boards meet between the
Yes.
last council meeting. We did.
Beautification board met last night.
There you go. What'd
We're gonna have a booth at Liberty Day, to show some of the projects that we've done around town and try to get interest in people volunteering and being a part of the beautification board, because we still have one opening and we need somebody that's dedicated and wants to. And I also found out that we can have somebody outside the city limits, on the board. So I'm just seeing if we can find any interest at all, and, if we can just get people that want to volunteer for when we do something special or, anything like that, we need volunteers. So, we'll have a booth there and it'll be in front of,
Can we have somebody else
On that board, there's one seat.
anyway, we'll have our booth will be set up in front of, Susan's, flower shop. And also, the Yard of the Month goes to Tori Watkins and Serena Bradford, and it is the Gray House on East College with the yellow door. And the Business of the Month is the Southeast Shelby County Rescue. And I sent you that in a text with the pictures. And that's all we have.
I guess I got second. Again.
Any other questions? Yeah.
I wanna win too.
I
I
don't want that.
We should be
That will never
eligible.
be an overlap.
Okay, so I'll introduce this resolution. Everybody knows we've been trying to get the Public Works building up and going out on McDowell Road with a piece of property that we purchased from Greedy Corporation. We put a bid out to tear down and do the construction work on the facility, and it came in way over what we had budgeted. So what we did is we went back to our engineer and we decided what things could we do as the city of Columbiana. One of them was to remove the old siding that was on there, which has been, I think, substantially completed, if not already completed. The siding's gone, then we're gonna try to get the roof, and I don't know if that's been done yet or not. And then, working with the engineer, we sort of broke the project up into pieces. And so, this is basically a bid for what we're calling Phase 2, which is letting us put the siding and the roofing, and there's also a little bit of structural work to make the framing that's there a little bit more stout. Because we only had one bidder, one responsive bidder, we discussed it with our city attorney, and he said, so we could negotiate a change to the contract with that bidder. So that's what we did. We negotiated with the one responsive bidder to 89.5. And so the purpose of this resolution is to basically allow me to sign a contract for services so they can go ahead and get that building skinned and roofed. And it'll have some new roll-up doors in it as well.
Will phase two get them to where they can use the building after it's?
They can put stuff in it. It will still need wiring and lighting, and the plumbing needs to be fixed. We were gonna do by self-help building the office area inside ourselves. But the next phase that we wanna do is we wanna work on the excavation and the paving at the outside of it. Again, our guys have already done a little bit of excavating, but we may be able to, go ahead and get that done too and stay well within our budget.
It does look good. It's better than it did, for sure.
Yeah, nothing is better than those there. Okay. So is there a motion to adopt the
Mr. Mayor, I
resolution?
make a motion that we adopt resolution 06-2301 to award the bid for the Public Works Building Phase 2.
Second.
Okay, if you would call the roll, please.
Councilmember Lilly,
Yes.
Mizell,
Yes.
Rustin,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes. Okay, so the resolution was passed by unanimous vote of the council. So very good. I wanted to bring this up because I've had a couple of the businesses on Main Street express a concern about large trucks going up and down Main Street, 18-wheelers, log trucks, things like that, and particularly with us trying to make it a more pedestrian-friendly type area for our businesses and whatnot, and asked, could we pass an ordinance to restrict truck traffic through Main Street? And I told them, well, the answer is yes, we could if the council wishes to do so. So I just thought I'd introduce it and kick the idea around tonight. Any comments or questions about that?
How would you communicate that? Or is it just, when you get a ticket, you know not to do it next time?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I've talked to a couple of people who, that's how they found out, in a couple of the surrounding communities, is they got a ticket. But what I would recommend that we do, here's my thoughts. Since they asked, I thought about it. And again, this is just throwing it out there. If it were me, I would limit it only, the restriction to tandem axle vehicles, like an 18-wheeler that has tandem axles, or a large tandem axle dump truck that would allow, van trucks, local delivery type trucks to come in and out. But the big 18-wheelers and the log trucks and the big dump trucks would not be allowed through town. There is a process for posting an ordinance that we could go through as well. And before, if we wanted to, before we make it take effect. And then we could put some signage. I think we'd have to get some signage. So if you're coming in 47, you've got something that basically says, truck route this way, and then turn right up to 25. And we would have to figure out a route. Trucks that are going on 25 are going to, it's not a problem. They come in on 47, or they can just stay right on 25, or they come in on 25 and stay on 25. The problem is when the truck comes in on 47 from the north and wants to continue on 47 on the south, we would need to find a way to route them around, so they can get back to 47.
I think we've talked about this before, but I think the issue, they just beat up curbs and
Yes,
it's just.
and the light poles too, remember they torn down too?
That's right, they do.
I will say that in Clanton, not very long ago, a big truck came through and took all of their street lights down.
And didn't that almost happen, or it got taken down
Yeah,
last
so, I
year.
mean, they just had an incident that happened.
So, you know, the retail section of our Main Street is pretty tight. And then making that turn, watching those big
Oh, yeah.
trucks
Oh,
take
yeah.
the turn from College into Main or Main to College, that's sometimes gets pretty sporty. So-
I think we definitely ought to do it. I think we just need to figure out where we need a detour or what. the
Yeah,
route
and so I
would
think
be.
maybe what we ought to do is we can have a work session in the near future and sort of kick it around. We can look at some ordinances and determine what routing and what kind of signage that we would.
But I do think it's a good idea because we work too hard downtown for things to get run over and tore up, pulled down.
Yeah, people have been really, going back to the beautification board as well as some of the stuff at Main Street, people have been really complimentary of what's going on in town, so I certainly would like to keep that. Is there any other business anybody would like to bring up? Okay. All right, the mayor's report. Today is the 79th anniversary of D-Day. In just a few hours on that one day, over 4,000 Allied troops were killed in the assault on D-Day. 2,500 of those were U.S. troops. So it was an amazing battle and an enormous sacrifice for Americans, and basically it liberated all of Europe. So we've not seen anything before. We haven't seen anything since. And you know, the greatest generation that was involved in that battle, they're just about all gone. So if you know anybody who was part of that generation, I think it's a good idea to let them know how grateful we are. Okay, citizens' issues and concerns. You know, back in March when I said I wanted to do this Mayor's Monthly Video, the real purpose was to hear from people and get their questions and concerns and respond in a public forum so that other people probably have the same issues and concerns and they could hear what's going on there. So March was just a sort of a pilot video that says here's what we want to do. Didn't get any questions. We were still getting our website set up for that sort of thing. So April comes along, we just sort of told them here's what's going on in the town, but there's no questions. And then May, I decided that I wanted to do something special for Memorial Day. But we did have questions come in April and May. And so I did the video yesterday. It hadn't been posted yet. And the questions were that were raised was somebody wanted to know how they could get access to the city budget and the financial data. I've got backup charts. It would take me 15 minutes to go through all this, so I'm just going to give you the Reader's Digest version. So my answer to him was, well, the short answer is it's on the website. So I started looking around and couldn't find it. And there were some problems. It had been there. There had been some changes to the website. It disappeared. There was some data in there. It was old. It was out of date. And you had to really, really hunt to find it. So we fixed that. So that's the short answer, is to fix that. The financial data is out there. Someone had a concern about the Shelby County Humane Society. You know, my first thought was, well, that's not my problem. That's Shelby County. But it's in Columbiana, and the allegations and concerns that they raised about the facility and the care was a serious one, so I felt like it needed to be addressed. So I contacted the president of the board of the Humane Society, and I got almost instantaneous, the good news is, got almost instantaneous reply. And they were already aware of the issue that this person had raised and were working it. I was put in touch with the new executive director. She's all on top of it. She acknowledged they could have handled the situation. Basically, someone had fostered a couple of puppies, and they were sick, and she was concerned about access to treatment. It happened on a weekend. The Humane Society gave the animals the best news of all. They gave them some medication, and by Sunday they were much better. That was the story they told me. So I went back to the person. I said, Do you agree with this? They never responded back, so I'm assuming they agree that that's what's happened. But the important thing is the facility is overcrowded, understaffed, and underfunded. And it is, even though it's largely funded by Shelby County, it is a separate nonprofit entity, and it is largely dependent on donations. So the most important thing people can do is, if you want to adopt an animal. That'll certainly help with the overcrowding. If you want to foster an animal, take one home temporarily until they can find an owner for it, that would be helpful as well. You can volunteer, you can donate money, and if you go to their website, there's a whole host of things that you can do. So I thought it was eye-opening for me. I learned something, and hopefully I was able to share that with others. Somebody asked the question, is the city doing anything to bring in new business into Columbiana, like a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts? And I said, well, the short answer is yes, and I listed all the things that we're trying to do to bring in new business. And I said, okay, so if you're interested in Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, sounds like to me you're interested in a good cup of coffee. So I told them to go to the places that we already have, like the Leader's Corner, the Hometown Nutrition, and again, due to part of my research, I learned that the largest seller of coffee in the United States is who, do you think? It's McDonald's. I said, so you could go to McDonald's and get a cup of coffee too. And I did not realize that, but they are. And so anyway, the large chains like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts have very specific criteria about where they locate their stores. Has to do with population density, traffic, median household income, and age in particular for Starbucks. We didn't meet any of those criteria. So that's fine. We find an alternative, and I think we have some good alternatives here in Columbiana. And the first rule of economic development in the community is to preserve and support your existing businesses, and so we'll do that. The second to last one was primarily more than anything else a complaint about our nuisance ordinance. This one gets really, really, really complicated, and to a certain degree is a dispute between neighbors. But the reality is we have an ordinance and it says these things, but how we enforce the ordinance is largely up to us. And according to our city attorney, courts are reluctant to take up the case of how a city enforces an ordinance unless fraud or discrimination is the issue, and then they would certainly consider those. So I not only responded to this individual, but I also spoke to them face to face. Got into the issue of abatement. We can actually abate somebody's property if they don't cut their grass, which is, kind of harsh. And is that, given the cost of that, is that something that is economically viable for the city of Columbiana to do? So bottom line is we're working with the property owner and occupant to try to address these issues, and we've been following up with them. And if they don't, they made some progress. If they should backslide or not keep up, then they'll get a citation. If they get a citation 2 or 3 weeks later, maybe a month, they'll be summoned to court. They'll have to come to the municipal court. The judge is likely to say you got 30 days to fix the problem. In other words, my point is that it takes a very, very long time to resolve these kind of issues. But the ordinances are there for a reason. We pass the ordinances, so I feel like it's our duty and responsibility to enforce them. I just got this weekend a complaint about the Columbiana Water Board. I'm still investigating that complaint, so I really don't have anything to say about that. I wanted to let everybody know the Center Street paving project, which has been going on it's been a nightmare since January. What we have gotten accomplished is we did get a new wastewater sewage system line put in there. We also got a new stormwater sewage pipes put in there. And on or about the 14th of June, and I'm gonna say on or about, the contractor has scheduled those days, but you know how contractors are, you have weather, you have this, there, and that. The first thing they're gonna do is come in and do the soil remediation, then they will pave the street, and they have to do complete the paving of Johnston Street and repair the driveways that were dug up when we put in the stormwater drains, the new stormwater drains. At the end of the day, these guys are probably gonna have the best street in Columbiana, but it's been a real pain to get them there, and I know they'll be thankful to have this happen. I reiterate, I don't wanna steal any of Ally's thunder going forward about upcoming events, but the Farmers Market Music on Main, that's a photo of it Friday night. It was extremely well attended. And I think when you combine the farmers market, the music on Main, the entertainment district, some of the new venues that we have in town, and the group was a good group. I think people had a great time, and I'm looking forward to this Friday night being another success. That's the biggest crowd I've seen at the music on Main in a while. So
Yeah, this picture makes me happy.
yeah, so that's good for our businesses, and I was also told. The farmers markets vendors did very well, and those businesses that remained open did very well. And I know
Didn't the farmer's market sell out?
maybe in some
That's what
things,
Some of the things.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So you
We bought some peaches and a piece of wood. I won't go into the details on the piece of wood. Okay.
Homegrown wood.
That's right. All right, so Flag Day is June the 14th. We've got our flags up for Memorial Day, and they'll stay up till the 4th of July. So everybody, remember what that flag stands for, and let's recognize it on June the 14th. And then, of course, Liberty Day, which I know Ally's going to talk about. So any questions?
I'm really interested in this piece of wood.
Okay. It's not even real wood, but basically it's been routed out and it says Columbiana on it, and it's in a wooden frame, so it's
Oh,
cool.
that is cool.
Okay, announcements.
All right, so this Saturday, the 10th at 8 o'clock, the beautification board will do their cleanup day. They'll start at the senior center and work their way around town to get everything cleaned up for Liberty Day. Also this Saturday at 10 and at 2 is the Liberty Day pageant. So it'll be the first time in a long, long time that they've had an actual pageant in memory of Sheila. So it should be, I think there are 42 kids registered. So it's going to be a really good time. So you can come at 10 or at 2 and see a lot of pretty girls and a couple of little boys in the pageant.
Where's the location?
At the Grand Hall.
Grand Hall.
Mhm. So, and then Music on Main and the Farmers Market will happen every Friday night in June. There's a list of the bands. This Friday night is the Stepdads. They're one of my favorites.
They were at Cowboy Day.
They were at Cowboy Day, and they do a great job.
Probably the most popular group we had there.
So it should be a really fun night.
What time does the farmer's market
The
start?
Farmers Market starts at 5:30 and music starts at 7.
Anything else?
And then Liberty Day is the 23rd and the 24th. And all the fun things.
Questions for Al? By the way, just on an aside, has nothing to do with city business, but I just thought of it when you're going through this stuff. I was on a phone call, a Zoom call this morning with the mayor and the city staff in Winslow, Arizona. They are considering hiring orchestra partners who we hired, and they're doing their due diligence, which is the right thing. Basically, I told them, I said, well, we really haven't done much yet, other than have a kickoff meeting, so we don't have anything to. But I sort of talked about the process and how we did our due diligence and whatnot. But what made me think about it is when you did this thing, the Goat Hill String Band did a Eagles song, and of course you're talking about Winslow, Arizona. I think about the Eagles. So anyway, okay. No other questions for Alan? Oh, there was, did you wanna talk about that?
And this is the Liberty Day map. I'm sure that you've seen the poster. If you would like a poster, I will get you one. But it is a full 2 days worth of fun and music. I'm trying to think of anything special I can talk about. The car show will be at the Baptist Church.
Who's heading that up?
Gary Taylor, sorry, I just had a moment. So Gary Taylor will do the car show. He did that last year. He does a really good job. Holly Farmer, Gary Taylor, yeah. So he'll do the car show. That'll be at the Baptist Church. The Shelby County Juvenile Court is sponsoring our Kids Zone this year, and so they have paid for all of that so kids can play for free.
That's great.
So that's a really great thing that they're doing. So we want to thank Judge Wilburn for making that happen. Food trucks will be in the overflow parking lot, the courthouse overflow parking lot, stages on Main Street and in Olney Square Park. So it's gonna be a really fun day.
So I think, you know, we talk about the 130 vendors, if you look at the
Yes.
vendor map here, I mean, there's just
There's
running out of
vendors
places to put them.
We are. So, it's a good problem.
Yeah, it is.
Good enough.
Okay. All right, any comments from anyone in the public? All right, if there are no more comments, no more